We here at C4E Tech always listen to you guys, the C4E family. That's why today's video is the comparison you wanted us to make. The flagship killer OnePlus 6 versus the cheapest Snapdragon 845 on the market, the Asus Zenfone 5Z. Hey guys, Ash here from C4E Tech. If you enjoyed these comparisons, do subscribe and hit the bell icon. It helps out a lot. Let's now get to the video. Priced in the 30 to 35k price bracket, these new generation of flagships might be light on your wallet, but they don't skimp out on the build. Glass to the front and back with a metal rim around the sides. Both these devices sport the glass sandwich design in true 2018 fashion. Now, design is more of a personal preference, and while some may prefer the muted design language of the OnePlus 6, others might like the eye-catching concentric circle pattern to the back of the 5Z. Some others might be okay with the OnePlus 6 as long as OnePlus keeps offering different color variants. So which one of these two do you prefer? Here's a poll, let us know. Turning the phones around, let's now take a look at the fronts. We have a similar size 6.2-inch Full HD Plus display on both these devices. They also share the same notch at the top. However, there are a few minor differences here. The IPS LCD panel on the Zenfone 5Z is 0.02 inches smaller than the AMOLED panel on the OnePlus 6. The notch is a bit smaller on the OnePlus. But then that's just nitpicking. Both of these are excellent displays, and while I personally prefer the inkier blacks and punchier colors of the AMOLED, some might prefer IPS LCD. Overall, for everything from social media to movie watching, these two displays are great and you'd be happy with either one of them. Now guys, talking about movie watching, media consumption, all that, a quick thing to note, stereo speakers on the 5Z, that's a big pro. We also get micro SD on the 5Z, which is another pro. With the first two rounds being a draw and a few sundries here and there, let's see if maybe we can separate these two in terms of performance. Internally, we've got the top of the line Qualcomm Snapdragon 845 on both of these devices, and basically this translates to buttery smooth performance across the board. From heavy apps to demanding games, these two phones are neck and neck. In fact, they're so close that we have the entire team divided on which one would win in a speed test. So yeah, that's another video coming up real quick. Anyway, getting back to the specs part of things, we have 6 and 8 gig RAM variants for both these devices. When it comes to storage, we've got 64, 128 and 256 models for both. So performance seems to be on par. How about battery life? On paper, they have the same capacity battery, 3300 mAh, but I found that the 5Z held up around 10% better than the OnePlus 6. And if you do manage to drain them, we have quick charge as well as AI charge on the Zenfone 5Z and dash charge on the OnePlus 6. So what exactly is AI charge? It basically protects your battery from overcharging. Asus has baked in several of these nifty little features into the software. We have AI boost for games, AI ringtones, and a whole lot of other stuff. Zen UI built on top of Android 8 Oreo is feature rich, but it still remains quite fast and snappy. On the other hand, we have Oxygen OS on the OnePlus 6, which is closer to stock with just a few OnePlus additions here and there. There aren't a plethora of features, but the ones that are, like shelf and gesture support, they come in really handy. Overall, this one too boils down to choice. Do you want the more simplistic approach but stockish approach of OnePlus or the feature-rich Zen UI? It's up to you. Now, before we wrap the software portion up, I'd have to mention Face Unlock. Both phones have it, and it works pretty fast and accurately across both these devices. No complaints there. So we've come this far, and it has mostly all boiled down to personal preference, with neither the OnePlus 6 or the Zenfone 5Z being able to gain an edge over the other. So let's see what the optics have in store for us. Both phones sport rear-mounted dual cameras. The OnePlus 6 has a 16 megapixel primary snapper and a secondary 20 megapixel snapper, both with f1.7 lenses. Moving on over to the Zenfone 5Z, we've got a 12 megapixel primary shooter with a f1.8 lens paired with an 8 megapixel sensor with a 120 degree wide angle f2.0 lens. Enough specs, let's see these two cameras in action. First up, taillight shots. Both of them take some good looking shots, although it has to be said that when you pixel peep, the OnePlus 6 takes in more detail. The wide angle camera though takes some unique shots, which is just not possible with the OnePlus 6. We have auto HDR on both of these devices, and as you can see from this image of the tree, both of them did a pretty good job of getting details out of the shadows. When the light got lower though, we noticed something pretty interesting. The Zenfone took much brighter looking shots and with comparable and sometimes better details than the OnePlus 6. In fact, I was simply blown away by what the 12 megapixel primary snap on the Zenfone 5Z was capturing. Now, when it comes to portrait, both these cameras do an okay job. Even the front cameras are decent with edge detection. When it comes to normal selfies, the detail level is obviously higher on the 16 megapixel selfie shooter on the OnePlus 6 when compared to the 8 megapixel snapper on the Zenfone. The skin tones also seem to be a tad nicer on the OnePlus. Anyway, moving on to video, we have 4K 60 FPS support on both these phones. The footage from the OnePlus seems to be a bit more stable compared to the one shot with the 5Z. The detail levels and smoothness too seem better. The OnePlus 6 has support for 480 FPS super slow motion as well, but the 5Z hits back with EIS on the secondary camera and also no limits on 4K 60 FPS recording. Overall, both these phones did really well across the board, but if I had to pick a winner, I'd probably go with the 5Z because of the wide-angle camera that offers an entire new perspective. It's also a kind of novelty factor, but it keeps coming in handy from time to time. And also the fact that the primary 12-megapixel snapper on it is really good at still photography. But then again, you can't be faulted for picking the OnePlus 6 because it does better with videos and it's got a better selfie camera as well. Again, it's a bit of your priority, right? So now finally, let's come down to price. The Zenfone 5Z starts at 30,000 rupees for the 64 gig variant, with the 256 gig variant slated to arrive soon at 37k. Now the OnePlus 6 on the other hand begins at 35,000 rupees with the higher 128 gig variant at 40,000 and the 256 gig variant going for 43,000 rupees. Now that huge price difference along with the better photography experience should mean that the Zenfone is the easy recommendation, right? Well, yes, to an extent it is. For most people, the 5Z offers great value for money, especially with the 256 gig variant coming in 6k cheaper than the competing OnePlus Q. However, if you're someone who values water resistance, the day-to-day water resistance that OnePlus offers, or the super slow-mo features, or video, or the alert slider, then at 35k, the OnePlus 6 still remains a great deal. It is also worth remembering that OnePlus offers 2 years of Android version updates along with 3 years of security patches, compared to Asus committing to only Android P and 2 years of security updates. So it's still a solid offering, the OnePlus 6, but maybe not as much of a bang for the buck as the competing Asus Zenfone 5Z. At least that's what I think. Now it's time you guys tell me what you think about these two phones. Which one of them would you want to pick? Drop us a comment down below and let your voices be heard. Also share this video with anyone who's looking to buy a phone in this 30 to 35k price segment. If you hated the video, well, you know what to do. But if you did like it, drop us a giant like, subscribe, and click on that bell icon to get notified every time we upload a new video on C4 eTech. And now I must bid you adieu. Thanks a lot for watching. Till next time, my name's Ash. You've been watching C4 eTech, and I'm signing off for now. You guys have a great day. Bye-bye.